So basically we're about to run this half marathon, 21.1K. Just to put it in perspective, Jerry has probably done 18 kilometers once. Max I've ever done is 10 kilometers.
Max I've ever done is like 8 kilometers.
So safe to say we are not that experienced.
No.
But
No.
it's all about the mindset.
That's it.
And yeah.
Back in January, as part of my New Year's resolutions, I made it a goal to run 10 kilometers by the end of 2020. Now the plan was to practice running all year so that by the end of the year I could enroll in a race and complete that 10K. And I told one of my friends this while I had moved to Singapore, and he told me that he believed I could do it the very next day. Without even thinking too much, I said, "You're right," and I did it. I ran the 10 kilometers and I've never felt better than I did in that moment.
January 19, 2020, Singapore. We out here, Clark Key. Just ran 10K. Your mind controls everything. So if you can convince your mind to push your body to new limits and to convince yourself that you can do something, you got done. You can do anything you want.
And this is the story of how I managed to run a half marathon with literally zero training and zero experience running distances more than 10 kilometers. So I hope that you guys enjoy this, and if you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to subscribe right now. Before starting this race, I realized that there are three common problems that most people will face at any point where they're facing a challenge. The first one is the surface level challenge. In this case, when you're trying to run a half marathon, it's all of the actual running. Then there's the one that's inside your head, and this is the most important one, and that is crippling self-doubt. Finally, there's a philosophical problem, which is the fact that nobody really understands how good they actually are, and that is because they don't challenge themselves enough. I figured that the only way that I could actually combat these three problems was to run the race. While I was running, I realized that I had 4 big tips that helped me finish this half marathon. The first one is to focus on little things. In this case, while I was running, I was focusing on objects and different places when I was running. So if I was running around the lake, I'd focus on running to a specific tree, and then the next tree, and then the next tree, and then maybe a park bench or people walking. And that's how I would set the marker for helping myself to continue to run and to push myself further and further. The second tip was to actually swear at myself, and this may seem counterintuitive, but it goes with the third point, which is positive reinforcement. One of the ways that I managed to do this was I ran with no music at all, and so I wasn't relying on any external sources of validation or energy. I was focused on my own mind and letting my mindset really take control of how hard I could push myself. If there's anybody that I learned this tactic from, it would be David Goggins and the way that he treats himself. The final thing I did, which applies to running, and you can definitely apply this to other challenges, but it was to create intervals. So I had like a pacing scheme where I would run 1.75 kilometers and then I would walk about 0.15 to 0.25 kilometers, and I would repeat this interval, and this taught me how to pace myself. It taught me how to get in a groove, and ultimately is what leads me to success on most of these long form challenges.
9.5 kilometers in, and I'm starting to feel it. 12K, baby. Right now I've done 15 and a half, and I feel amazing. And this goes to show that running is not a physical activity, it's a mental activity. So many people cap themselves at a certain limit, their cognitive limitations, because people don't realize how good they really are. So running is just one of those ways that shows you to push past your limits and to be a lot better than you ever thought you could be. So final K, baby. Final K. Woo! That's it. I got it. If you're out there and you think that you can't do this, you fucking can. It's literally a mental challenge. You just keep pushing and pushing, and every time you want to give up, you say fuck it, and you push forward and you keep going. You wind up with a half marathon.
So if we recap what happened in this half marathon, the main lesson that you take away is that there are 3 big problems that most people will face in any challenge. The first one is the feeling that they actually can't do the physical challenge. The second one is the crippling self-doubt that will be with you throughout the entire journey. And the third one is the philosophical problem that most people don't believe they are actually as good as they really are. And once again, the way to push past all of these things is to just start. One last thing, guys, if you like this video and you want to see more content, please make sure to subscribe for more challenges and for more skill learning. I'll see you guys next time.